Figure it out later. Welcome back to Play Live Melbourne, 129 York Street, South Melbourne. This is day 3 of the main event. We are down to 11 players, and we do have a little update for those people who are Sean Ragazzini fans. He was busted just before the break.
I didn't even look at my hand.
And we do apologise. We did say we we're going to come back at 3:42, but we have now reset the GFX software downstairs to bring you some table audio, which we believe is up and going. I've joined in the box here by Jackson Young, and Lachlan Crilly is going to come into the combo too to call the action for the next hour or so. But a little bit of information for the people in the outer feature table and the people who are watching at home. We do have approximates on the chip stacks at that outer feature table. You can see top left-hand side of your screen. Patrick Vaux has 1.9 million. Daniel Gabriel has 4.5 million. Charlie Hu has 800k. Vincent Wang, Wonky himself, has approximately 10 million. Jason Rojas has 700k, and Nathan Ong has 1 million. A little bit of an information about what happened with Sean Ragazzini. If you don't mind watching the action for me here, Jacko, just in case something happens here at the feature table. Vincent Wan had red aces under the gun +1, and he opened them. Gets called on the button from Sean Ragazzini. Big blind also called. Flop came Jack 4-3, 2 diamonds. Vincent bet small. Sean Ragazzini called. Turn came the 6 of diamonds. Vincent then check called a medium-sized bet on the turn. The river then bricked out. And Sean Ragazzini went to try and steal it away from Wonky and bet 1.7 million, leaving 1 chip behind. And Wonky made the flat call with these red aces, with the ace of diamonds blocker, obviously. And Sean Ragazzini, from my understanding, had the king-queen offsuit with the king of diamonds, trying to make a play against Wonky. Couldn't get it done. Wonky then jetted himself straight up to about 10 million in chips, and that's how he got all of them. And so Wonky now with a commanding chip lead in this final 11 players in the main event here at Play Live 129 York Street, South Melbourne. And this is my cue to allow Lachlan Crilly, the big man himself, alongside Jackson Young, to come into the commentary booth and call the action for approximately an hour. Lockie, if you don't mind, jump into my high seat to join Jackson Young to give you all that elite poker mind, or minds, I should say, bringing the action for you. Lockie, pleasure.
Just as we do welcome Lachlan Crilly into the booth, I'll call some action here. So we actually do find an interesting fold, which I will ask Lachlan as soon as he jumps in here, as he's just sitting down now and getting adjusted. So just on this hand, Crilly, welcome, firstly. Dean Blatt has actually just folded ace-10 offsuit on the button. Do you want to give any thought process on why he's potentially done that? Because I think we are 5-handed on this table, so we are potentially on the final table bubble. Is there any reasoning why you believe he would have done that off, believed to be 15 big blinds?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, part of the commentary. Good to be beside you, Jackson. Regarding the hand, maybe he just knew Nelson was going to flop 2 pair. We saw a couple of hands that we saw folded earlier when I was watching the stream before I came in, and I was a bit unsure. Maybe he has his reasons, but maybe I don't know, maybe there's something to do with the cards. If the cards are all good on the end, then I'm truly unsure, because I don't think we'll be folding that one very often. So it could be something to do with the card reader. I don't know. If that's right, then I'm unsure, because it just seems a little too tight on the button. A little too tight.
Yeah, and potentially the cards could be wrong. We'll see. Obviously, Nelson has double-checked his 2 pair here, so we'll get to see the showdown potentially if Tam makes the call, if his cards are incorrect. But looks like he just has the 9 high here, so probably going to put this one in the bin, you would say, unless he does want to turn this one into a bit of a bluff. We do get a comment from the YouTube, a regular viewer. Thanks for coming back into the comment section. He apparently folded ace jack off before. I have played with Dean a little bit. He is slightly tighter than I guess I thought he would be, but I still don't think he's folding ace jack and ace 10 offsuit, especially from the button. So I do believe there's potentially a card reader error in these couple of hands, and usually the first hand, once you come back from a break or something like that, the cards are a little bit wrong, so we won't actually get to see the cards. But been assured from the guys downstairs that it will be fixed moving forward. So yes, as we can see the stacks now. Any of these guys you play with a bit? Clearly, obviously you're from Brisbane, so maybe not a lot of them, but you have been here for a few weeks now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys are pretty new to me. A lot of guys on the Melbourne scene. We're traveling down a bit more because it seems like Melbourne is the new hub of poker again. You know, some could say it's back home. It's always been the spot in Australia poker scene. So, but yeah, I played with a few of these guys. Like Dean's been around the circuit. I played with Nelson. I played with Tam. I played with some of the other boys on the other table as well. So yeah, a lot of familiar faces still in, and pretty exciting to be this deep in a main event.
Yeah, we are approaching the final table, which is awesome. As Monkey did allude to before, there is $106,000 up top for first. So one of these last 11 are gonna get that prize, and quite jealous, I think, would be the feeling from probably you as well, Krilly, but definitely from me. It's always really fun to be in a spot like this, and it doesn't come around too often. As Dean does pick up the ace queen offsuit here, and assuming the card reader is correct, this one is definitely not going in a bin. Is this a hand that you do want to come with open jam, or do you just want to open here?
I think these ones really depend on who's behind, kind of thing.
Do you just mean that based on aggression? Like, are you thinking Tam and Nelson will play back at you, and therefore you can...
If you think people behind are gonna 3-bet bluff, especially who's in the big blind as well, if big blind's, you know, taking 3-bet bluffs correctly, I would like to raise and juice this hand. But then also as well, it doesn't play as well post, and chips are important. But when we are pretty, like, you know, we are on this table, he's last in chips. I'm guessing he'd be close to last in chips in the tournament. I wouldn't mind raising juicing this, but if players aren't correctly, you know, 3-bet bluffing behind, then maybe jam could be more optimal.
Yeah, and I do like that, and he has gone with jam. I believe he is going to leave a little bit behind. As we did talk about the last stream I was on, me and Philly were on the final table with Sean Ragazzini the other day for the Super Stack $2,000 tournament, which he wrecked us all in.
Yeah, he put on a clinic.
He did, and what he was doing, and something that I've seen and heard about and tried to do a little bit, but was kind of good to learn from someone doing it to me, is not going all in and actually leaving yourself not only just one chip, but leaving yourself potentially an orbit behind, because there are pay jumps coming up, and the pay jumps do get a little bit bigger as we go. So as you can see in the screen, if we can get a couple of pay jumps here, worst case scenario, someone does wake up with a hand and they want to like check it down, and I guess, you know, leave us in some pressure, we do give ourselves a little bit of an out.
Yeah, who knows? There could be a double knockout on the other table, and all we have to do is wait, you know, a minute. You just don't know.
Yeah, and that's right. Like, let's for example say you get jammed on, you've got a big blind behind, but you hear from the other table that someone is all in. You wait for them to bust, and then you just get a pay jump of, I could think it's $2,000 or something like that. So I think you're probably the king on being patient, as I did mention on the last stream how you folded jacks in that hand. I still can't believe it, and I did mention that you put that one in the computer, and turns out you were right, which doesn't shock me at all. But it does show you how tight we do have to be in some specific ICM dynamics.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
It is. you did have jacks off 8 big blinds.
Look,
you know
I am known amongst the boys as the king of folding. I don't know. I just, people under bluff. Also, like, there's just so much value in sticking in the tournament as well, because people make mistakes. So hanging around and saving chips in certain spots is so important. But then also sometimes it's just your time to die, and maybe I can be a bit stubborn in that.
Yeah, I do think that there is credence for folding and making some money, but as you said, like, you do have to take some spots eventually.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to find hands in poker, especially 5-handed, where, you know, we're deep in the money, or like they are here, or, you know, we're really close to the money like we were on the other day. And yeah, there's the dynamic of, do we want to just try build a stack and win the tournament, or do we kind of want to give ourselves a better chance of cashing, but therefore a less chance of actually winning the tournament? And there's that weird thing, like, do we want the money, do we want the glory?
Yeah.
You know, EV, do you really care about it, or do you want to just try win? I guess why that is the a lot of the top pros, and people do sort of debate that one.
There's always a big debate on that, like, what makes more money in the long run kind of thing. You know, if we're going for the win more often, we're going to put in more bullets. but we're also going to win the tournament more versus, you know, are we just going to try and, you know, make it through into the money and then try and spin from there? Who knows?
Yeah, as we see Nelson opening up the A6 offsuit from the button, obviously a quite standard hand here. Daniel defending the 6-2 suited. Do you think this is a little bit too loose just with these ICM dynamics in play versus someone who does cover us?
Yeah, it might be. It might be. When we start getting into these deeper ICM spots, we want to defend less of the suited gappers, just because it's pretty grim. We're not going to make, you know, when we do make top pair, which is very rare with a six, you know, when we start getting double barreled on, it's pretty grim because by the turn we're going to have second or third pair. We're going to have to fold. Also, the reverse implied odds of we can get cooled too.
Josh in the chat. Trilly, would you open the ace queen with me in the big blind?
Nah, mate, don't think you're 3-bet bluffing enough. I might.
I've actually got a funny hand with Josh. So I can't remember the tournament. It was like something at APR Millions, like maybe a 2K or a 1.1K or something like that. And he was just destroying everyone on the bubble. He had infinite chips, and he actually thought I was out of the hand for some reason, but he just jammed like his whole stack in, obviously covering everyone else. But I had like 35 bigs. Didn't realize that I had that much because everyone else had like 10 or something like that. And I actually woke up with 2 9s, and I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing? Like, I looked at him, I was like, yeah, 1K 6 max, there you go. And I was like, do you know that I'm in the tournament? And he's just like, red face, just trying to like,
yeah.
He's like, obviously I knew you had 35 bigs and I'm jamming.
Yeah, obviously.
And I can't remember the exact spot. I can't remember if we're on the bubble exactly or not. I assume we were. And I did end up calling, and I think he had like queen 3-0 or something. So I did win like a huge like 70 big blind pot or something like that.
See, even when we get in these spots, like, you know, Daniel's made a call on the flop, right? And we might even, like, if we do decide to defend this, we might just start folding flop anyway, because we just don't really have much backdoor potential. Really, we're just trying to hit a 6 or a deuce.
And even then, like, worst case scenario, we also can be crushed, right? If he's got some stuff as we... Looks like he's going to potentially think about turning his hand into a raise or maybe just count his stack. Do you like this continuation bet on the turn from Nelson? For me, it looks a little bit like he's just applying max pressure here without any relevant cards.
I mean, a lot of the time when Nelson's just not going to have enough showdown. And when something does, it comes like a disconnected 3, we're going to take these high-low kind of cards that are just not going to win enough, and we're just going to put max pressure. So especially when we cover, like, we're really putting a 10 in a tough spot here.
Yeah, like he's probably... Is that a hand that you're going to be tripling as well if you are Nelson?
Most
rivers, I guess. Like,
I mean, we could take the fakest showdown of all time. Like, if he's got like King Jack, or he's got like, you know, Jack 7 of diamonds and stuff like that, we could potentially check down. But also, I can see where we just whack all in as well and put max pressure on a 10 for tournament life. Even if he has like a weak top pair, like a Queen 5 suited, you're not loving it.
No. And that's the power.
And I think that's why we just don't defend, because now we've lost, you know, I don't know, 5.5 big blinds or 4.5 big blinds where we could have saved those chips.
Like 20% of our stack almost as well.
Yeah,
so
it's quite relevant.
It is very important, as we see Nelson play another nice hand, and he had about this chip stack early last night. He did lose a big one, queens versus aces, and then was down to 3.1 million. But he has pretty much got all of it back and more, so kudos to him.
Yeah. I think it's a good reset for Nelson. He had a spot with Tam earlier with the ace-king against the queen 7. I was watching the stream, and those ones where you do get bluffed and you find out later can be a bit annoying for the mentality, but he's restabled well. Good professional, Nelson, and I think he's got a strong temperament. Yeah,
definitely one of the strongest players left in this field, that's for sure. Just a word from downstairs, guys. So we are actually running a 6 max, sorry, not a 6 max, a deep freeze. That is max late till 5:15 p.m, guys. So you've got about an hour to still jump in that one. Obviously, deep freeze meaning no rebuy. So you're not going to be firing multiple bullets, which is always nice. And that is a 11.50, unless I'm wrong. Maybe they can let me know, but I'm pretty sure it's an 11.50. So quite a nice sized tournament, and a bit of a series saver, as Josh alluded to before. You know, sometimes you just get unlucky, and I had him in on APO. He bricked everything for the whole week and a half, and won the impromptu 5K tournament that popped up for 70k and got out of the hole. So shout out to him, Min. We do see Dean Blatt take the ace queen off. As Tam here, you've got a quite tough spot. You are under the gun versus big blind, but we are under the gun 5-handed, so we are really just hijack.
Yeah.
Obviously, it does say under the gun in the graphics, but we know that, you know, we are hijack. This is I think quite a tough spot, really. Do you agree with me, or do you think this is easy
I think, I mean, theoretically, we're meant to call this. It's going to be how Tam perceives Dean's jamming range this deep in the tournament. If he thinks he's going to be finding, you know, the ace-3, ace-4, ace-5 suited, those sort of holdings, you know, if he's going to be finding potentially even king-jack suited. But I honestly think ace-jack suited might be a bit too strong to fold. Like, it might just be our stone bottom of calling range, but we'll see what Tam does.
Do you think Dean's meant to be doing this with some, like, ace-10 offs and stuff like that, or are these meant to be more just calls? And even the hand like pocket sixes, obviously, as we mentioned, we are.
I think pairs we take. I think ace-10 we probably call because we start dominating the offsuit 10x range and some ace-x as well. But ace-queen we're just jamming for value here. So, yeah, these ones are always, they never feel nice, and these can be very player-dependent spots, whether we take the ace-jack or not. But in theory, we're probably meant to take.
Yeah, and Tam also has to consider, like, he doesn't have 50 big blinds, right? So if he does call and is wrong, he has only like one big blind remaining and he's pretty much out of the tournament. So probably factors in a little bit into his thought process on if he wants to take this or not. While we do get a little bit of deliberation from Tam, as we can see him shuffling his chips there, just a few comments in the YouTube chat. Is it possible to rock up and watch this in real time? Yes, you can actually come down to Play Live. We are here at 129 York Street, South Melbourne, as Tam actually does like to fold. So results based, a really nice fold here, and Dean's going to be pretty shattered that he didn't get looked up by Tam. But
it's a really, really sharp fold.
And as you mentioned before, Tam's intuition is quite on the ball, and does seem to make the right read majority of the time.
Yeah, and these certain things like happen through experience. Like, Tam's been playing a long time. I don't know him too well personally, but I've seen him on the felt, and he always seems to make like really, really good decisions, and he can just sense things in the moment, and that's a really sharp fold.
Yeah, and he does preserve his chip life as well as his tournament life, so he's looking to now down to 18 bigs, find a spot, find a double. We are on the final table bubble, so I'm not sure exactly if they've gone hand for hand yet. As we get another comment from Lucy in the live chat, was the Berserker ticket drawn? It was last night. I do believe there was a murmur of another Berserker ticket being given away about in an hour's time, but don't hold me to that. Get a couple of comments here from Nelson supporting him. Is Nelson packing the heat or what? 6.6 million as we see there on the bubble, which is really nice.
What a fun spot to be in. 6.6 mil.
Man, I actually
100 bangers up top.
I dream about these spots. It's so rare to be 10 left in a main for 100k, and if you do ever get that, to be chip leading it, pretty much, it would be such a good feeling. I'm sure you've probably experienced that once or twice before. Maybe not chip leading because you never really have many chips, but you've probably been in these spots quite a bit. Can you just touch on, I guess, the players, like what they're feeling right now? Obviously, you can see the sort of pace of the game is slowing down, and because you do feel like you're so close, that trophy at 100,000, it probably just does tense up a little bit. This
is very interesting because people play for different reasons. So obviously a lot of people, it's just a mix. So like a lot of guys are quite wealthy, and a lot of them might not like to fold. But when you start getting deep into these tournaments, they love the competitiveness and they want to win. So, you know, people who might have deep pockets, they start changing their style quite a bit because we're getting close to, yes, the real money, but getting close to a win as well. Also, it's quite exciting, like when you're getting deep in this. And if you haven't had experience of being deep in a tournament like this, the nerves can be there.
I've definitely experienced it, yeah.
Or being on stream, you don't want to make a wrong decision, or, you know, have people think about, you know, or tell you how you should have played a hand. So you can get nervous and it could change the way you play. But you look at these guys, like, look how comfortable Tam is. Just
He's
ask,
been in these spots millions of times,
Exactly.
it feels like, as he requests the triangle. So he is all in for his 16 big blinds as we see Runan make a, well, I'm going to assume a pretty standard fold here. Yeah, Tam's avoided what would have been a bit of a disaster one-hand ago and now found a really nice rejam spot against the hand that he dominates. But you are right, the nerves can kick in on stream.
no one wants to look silly. No one wants to make a wrong decision. So the more experience you have, the more comfortable you'll be, and the more you'll probably feel you'll play more natural to your game, however that is. You know, these guys that maybe play cash and don't play tournaments as much, they're probably going to take their time because they truly don't know what to do in spots because they haven't been in these spots before. They don't know, might not know how they work, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I also think, like, and I'm going to give a bit of a sport analogy because I know I've been in this spot. Like, when you're playing regular season, like, you know, I play basketball, for example. So for me, regular season is very, very chill, right? But then you make the finals, you make the playoffs, and, like, you really start getting nervous. You don't want to miss free throws now. Like, you really want to make every single shot. And it's sort of similar to poker, is like, especially now you're on stream, is like, with poker, you obviously, you know, your cards are never shown because you're just playing. And
Well, it makes the call.
he does flick in a call here with the ace-5 off. This feels pretty wide.
Yeah, this is just a bit too wide. And that's just because when we are up against the SX portion, we're going to be dominated. If he does have the 3-bet bluff from the suited Broadway, they've got 40%. We're not doing well versus pairs, so it's just a little bit too wide, this one.
Tam does find the double, so Tam making a really nice fold earlier, and now he's been rewarded with a double from Ace Jack versus Ace 5-0. And as you touched on, like, I'm not sure, you know, haven't played with Wu much at all, but that's one of those hands where, you know, maybe the pressure potentially did get to him and he was, like, as you said, like, unsure, and you do sort of freeze up in these spots, and that's why you will see these players tanking a lot more than, say, if there was, you know, like 100 people left, because, you know, the stakes aren't high at that time. But right now,
Yeah.
you just really want to be correct, and your thought process maybe gets a little bit fuzzy, I would say.
Yeah, well, we don't know what he's actually thinking in game. I'm sure he's thinking something to justify his call. The issue is, if he is putting him on some sort of like King Queen or Queen Jack suited or Queen 10 suited, those hands still have 40%. So Ace 5-0 isn't really doing too well versus those holdings. Plus, if he is wrong and we are up against an Ace 10 or Ace Jack, we've only got like 28%. So against the full range, we're just not doing well enough with Ace 5.
Yeah, and it feels like, without giving a perfect analogy, it kind of feels like one of those spots where we're flipping or we're dead. And it's probably more relevant with pairs or something like that as well. But yeah, we do see Wu go down to 20 big blinds and becomes our table shorty alongside Dean Blatt, as he'll look to... He's still got a nice stack, don't get me wrong. As we saw Sean Ragazzini get in 6 big blinds with Ace 5 offsuit versus Josh Foster's Ace 8 offsuit earlier yesterday. Sean did win that and then spun his 6 big blinds up to about 100. So never count yourself out, especially with 20 bigs.
Tell you what, you definitely don't want to give Tam the chips as well.
No, he's
a dangerous
scary,
man.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes we've got to raise fold, but keeping him shallow is a lot nicer than giving him a full double. And he's going to feel comfortable again after getting that double. So
yeah, just on that one, Krilly, Jacko, you boys heading to Sydney this week from Josh? I'm not.
I will not be there for the Sydney Champs. I might.
Is that Kings?
There's Kings on at the moment, but Sydney Champs is starting reasonably soon as well. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know the dates on the Sydney Champs, but I know that's coming up soon, which goes into APO.
Okay, cool.
So,
it's nice for the Sydney guys and people that want to do travel Sydney. They can sort of do what we had with Melbourne, where you can roll 2 series or 2.5 series with Crown doing some studies,
yes.
You know, back to back. And it looks like for the Sydney people that are there or want to travel there, that is an option for them. So I unfortunately won't be there. I'm probably missing APO as well, which is maybe the thing I'm most upset about for the whole year.
But you'll be having a good trip anyway.
I'll be in China if I am not at APO, so I won't be having the worst time, of course. But yeah, I will be unfortunately missing that. As we get back to the action, Tam limping the Ace 10-0, and Nelson using one of these sort of junky middling hands to use as a raise bluff. He has gone 3.5x, which I like the sizing. Is this a hand selection that you like, or would you prefer like a Jack 4-0 or a
No, I
10-9
like
suited?
I like this as well because we start folding out hands that we're dominated by.
Like, yeah.
So say he does have like 10-9-0 or he's got like Jack 5 suited, stuff like that. They're probably going to start binning.
I have enough.
Wow, I thought he just went all in. Oh, he has
All
gone
in.
So is this something you like? We do have 35 big blinds, obviously, which is a lot, and Nelson is polar in this spot, I would assume.
I mean, this is a sort of one where we're going to fold out worse a lot, and we're only going to get called by better. But the thing is, Nelson is probably going to be taking quite a lot, so we are going to take the chips down quite a bit. I really like how Tam understands the dynamics where he should be limping a lot, even with a hand as strong as Ace-10, and then we can get Nelson to isolate a lot. Maybe with how many chips we have, maybe we go with limp call and then we get to dominate 10-2, 10-3, 10-4-0. But also, Tam's not afraid. So he knows that Nelson is going to be ISOing a lot and he just wants to take the chips now.
Yeah, and I don't think that strategy is bad. I mean, we are also on a pay jump bubble and the FT bubble, as I do believe we are actually looking to make our way to the final table, guys. So I'm unsure exactly what's going to happen here, but it looks like we are going to see someone bust from one of those outer tables, and we see the guys on our table all make it to the final table and going to be one of 9 to take home the trophy and $106,000. So we'll just wait for a little bit of an update here. We do see a couple of stacks in that outer table. Nothing really overly impressive on that outer stack, on those outer chip stacks, but we will get a confirmation. We have a question from Dean in the Facebook chat. Who's on the outer table? From what I can see, we have Dan Gabriel, Charlie, we have Vincent, who is wonky, and there'll be one more, and he's out of camera at the moment, but I'll get those words for you quite quickly. It does look like we are getting the final table sorted. There's going to be a final table photo, and we're going to be roughly back in 15 minutes, guys. So if you do want to stick around and stay tuned, the action will resume quite shortly. And me and Krilly will take a little bit of a break, and we'll get back into the action quite shortly, guys. So stay tuned. These guys will just get their chip stacks sorted, and yeah, we're going to be playing for a coveted Play Live main event.
Pretty exciting.
Keen, let's do it.
He's already in 6. Just one more act.
Stop guessing and start studying like a professional. Welcome to the Vault at Octopi Poker. The Vault offers powerful study tools and data drawn from real tournaments. We've catalogued the action from the highest stakes arenas, including Triton, the WSOP, and PlayLive. This isn't just a library of random solves. It's a curated archive of the most pivotal hands played at the world's most prestigious final tables. These are the hands that define careers. For these hands, we've provided comprehensive pre-flop and post-flop simulations. You can see exactly how the world's best navigated these high-pressure spots. Compare the actual play against the theoretical GTO baseline. Analyze the frequencies, the sizing, and the EV of every action taken under the brightest lights. Studying the Vault allows you to move beyond abstract theory and see how poker is actually won at the highest level. Boost your edge by studying reality, not just theory. Sign up today at Octopipoker.ai. I'll see you inside.
Yeah, you're in 3. I just moved you over. Yeah, that's 2 stack. I slid it over. Yeah. Good luck.